Welcome to this .NET MAUI Tab View and ListView tutorial. In this video, I will demonstrate how to create a photo gallery app with tabbed navigation, enabling users to switch between photos, albums, and favorites using the Syncfusion .NET MAUI Tab View. You will also learn how to view individual images and add them to your favorites list. First, I open an existing MAUI application. Here, I've already configured the .NET MAUI Tab View control with 3 tabs: Photos, Albums, and Favorites, each featuring custom icons. I've also used the Visual State Manager to change the text color of each tab item based on its state. To learn how to add the Syncfusion.net MAUI Tab View control to your MAUI application, watch the video linked in the YouTube card above or the description below. Now, I run the application. You will see that icons have been added to each tab. To add images to each tab, I install the Syncfusion MAUI ListView control and add the appropriate namespace. To learn how to add the Syncfusion.net MAUI ListView control to your MAUI application, watch the video linked in the YouTube card above or the description below. In the first tab, labeled Photos, I add a ListView control to display a collection of images. Next, I use an item template with a data template to specify how each image should be displayed. Similarly, I add it to the second and third tabs, customizing each to display its respective content. Next, I will show you how to populate images in a list view. I navigate to the main page CS file. To represent the details of a single image in the photo gallery, I create an image info class with properties for the image name, image source, size, date, and a flag indicating whether the image is marked as a favorite. To present an album in a structured way, I create an album info class with properties for the album name, cover image count, and a collection of images to be included in the album. Next, I organize images into categories by creating a gallery view model class. In this class, I include several observable collection properties with image data grouped by category, such as photos, countries, birds, and more. To populate these collections, I create a Generate Photos method and call it within the constructor. In this method, I store the current date to assign timestamps to each image. Then, I initialize the photos collection with a set of image data and populate the countries collection with images representing different countries. Ensure that the images are stored in the Resources folder. I use the same approach to populate the other collections as well. Additionally, I create a Generate Albums method to create album entries and call it in the constructor. Each album includes a name, cover image, count, and a reference to its corresponding image collection, enabling the app to display images grouped by album. Next, I navigate to the main page XAML to add images using the list view. I begin by setting the binding context of the page to an instance of Gallery View Model. In the first tab, labeled Photos, I bind the item source property to the Photos collection. The list view disables item selection, assigns a fixed height to each item, and adds spacing between them. Within the item's layout, I use a grid layout with 4 columns to create a gallery-style layout. And within the template, add an image control with its source bound to the image property. The image is set to aspect fill to ensure it covers the entire space, and its dimensions are slightly smaller than the item size to provide visual padding between items. In the second tab, labeled Albums, I bind the item source property of the list view to the albums collection, assign a fixed size, and disable item selection. Then, define a grid layout where items are arranged in multiple columns based on the specified span count. Each album item displays a cover image, album name, and the number of items. These elements are arranged in a grid with 3 rows for a clean and informative layout. The third tab, labeled Favorites, displays only the images marked as favorites. The list view binds to the favorites collection, adds spacing between items, disables selection, and adjusts its height automatically. Each item displays a bold data label and an image arranged in a vertical grid layout. When the application is loaded, the images are displayed in the Photos and Albums tab. To display a selected image in a separate page, I create an image page class. I bind the title to the image's date-time property, formatted to display the date and time. Within the grid layout, I add an image control to display the selected image, binding its source to the image property. The aspect property ensures that the image scales proportionally within the available space. To display a collection of images associated with a selected album, I create an album collection page class and import the Syncfusion MAUI ListView namespace. Within the grid layout, I add a ListView control and bind the item's source property to the Photos collection, which holds the image data. I disable item selection by setting the selection mode property to none. To achieve a gallery-like layout, I use a grid layout within the item's layout property, setting span count to 4, which arranges the images in a 4-column grid. I then include an item template and add a data template, which specifies how each image should be displayed. In this template, I add the image control and bind its source to the image property. The image is set to aspect fill to ensure it covers the entire space, and its dimensions are slightly smaller than the item size to provide visual padding between items. Next, I move to the main page XAML file. In the Photos tab, I add the OnPhotos item tapped event to handle tap actions in the ListView control, enabling navigation to a new page that displays the selected image. In the OnPhotos item tapped method, I create an instance of image page and pass the selected image along with the view model. I set the binding context to the selected image info object and navigate to the image page. This allows users to view the selected image in full detail. Similarly, I implement a tap event for the albums collection to handle navigation when an image within an album is selected. When I tap an image, you will see that the image is displayed along with its date. To group the collection of images based on when they were taken, I add a group descriptor property to the ListView's data source. This groups the images based on their date-time property. I use a custom key selector to generate labels. Then I check if the item is not null. If the image was taken today, it is labeled as today. If it was taken yesterday, it is labeled yesterday. For images taken earlier in the current year, the label displays the day and month. For older images, the label includes the full date with the year. As you can see, images are grouped based on when they were taken. To provide interactive options, I navigate to the image page class and import the Syncfusion MAUI core namespace to enable interaction with the effects view control on the page. Within the grid layout, I add a horizontal stack layout to hold the action buttons, centering them horizontally and aligning them to the bottom. I wrap each button in a border with rounded corners. Inside the border, I use the effects view control to apply a touch highlight effect. I then add a vertical stack layout with a label for the share icon and another for the text. I repeat the same structure for the edit, favorites, and delete buttons. You can see that the icons are displayed for each image. To toggle the icon based on whether an image is added to the favorites list, I create a favorite to icon converter class that implements the iValue converter interface. In the convert method, I check if the value is a Boolean, indicating whether the image is marked as a favorite. If it is, I return the filled heart icon for favorites. Otherwise, I return the outline heart icon. If the value isn't a Boolean, I default to the outline icon to prevent errors. Next, I navigate to the Gallery View Model class, where the image data is managed. In the Generate Photos method, I use a for-each loop to iterate through each image category, such as photos, countries, birds, foods, and electronics. For every image in these categories, I subscribe to its property changed event. This allows the view model to respond dynamically when properties like isFavorite change. After that, I initialize the favorites collection. In the onImageInfo property change method, first I check if the property that changed is favorite. If the image is marked as a favorite and is not already in the favorites collection, I add it. If the image is unmarked and is already in the favorites collection, I remove it. To dynamically display different icons based on whether an item is marked as a favorite, I navigate to the Image Page class. Within the Content page, I add a resource dictionary to register a custom value converter called Favorite2Icon Converter. Inside the border element used for the favorite icon, I update the label's text property to use the isFavorite binding along with the Favorite2Icon Converter, so the icon changes based on the favorite status. To implement interactive actions for the favorites and delete buttons, I navigate to the Image Page CS file. I begin by declaring a private field to hold a reference to the gallery view model. I store the view model instance in the constructor. Within the onFavorite tap method, I check if the binding context is an ImageInfo object and toggle its isFavorite property, which updates the icon in the UI. Next, in the onDelete tap method, I access the selected ImageInfo object from the binding context. I use the displayAlert method to display a confirmation dialog. When the user confirms, the image is removed from the collection it belongs to. This ensures the image is deleted from the correct category. If the image is marked as a favorite, it will also be removed from the Favorites tab. Lastly, I navigate back to the previous page using the pop async method, returning to the gallery view after deletion. When the application is loaded, the images are displayed in a gallery-like layout. You can view an image with all the details, add it to your favorites, and confirm that it appears in the favorites list. You can also return to the Photos tab and delete images based on your preferences. Let me wrap up this video. You have learned to create a photo gallery app using the Syncfusion .NET MAUI Tab View and ListView. You also learned how to view individual images and add them to your favorites list. If you want to see this example's working code, download it from the GitHub link in the description below. I have also included a link where you can check if you qualify for our community license, which gives you a free license key for our entire .NET MAUI controls. If you found this video helpful, click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.